before we proceed, let's test our validate method just to see if we're getting the correct value and the correct values, and our methods work. Okay, we want to display the field value, and then want to echo fields value, and then die before we get to our validate method, before we call a relevant method. Okay, okay, now the loop will probably run once, but that's fine. We just want to check if this method is working, if it's going to give us correct values. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so our get field value method works, but it only gives us one value since we put this die here. Okay, so the loop is only running once, but we know that this method works. All right, now let's echo the method to call just to see if it's going to give us the right methods. It should give us validate required, and validate number. Okay, let's comment out this code for now. Validate required. Okay, we need to put an end line here for testing purposes. Validate required, validate number, and you see this is going to give us a problem because our methods, the rule name starts with a capital letter. It's validate required with capital R and validate number with capital N. So we need to use first the rule to capitalize the first letter of our rule. Now let's see what validate required, validate number. Okay, now what's going to happen next is it's going to try to call these methods, which should generate dynamically based on the rule name. Okay, and here, if the validation succeeds, we want to echo validation passes or passed for field, and want to enclose that in double columns. Okay, now let's see what this gives us. Validation passed. Okay, all is going well so far, and we need to put an end line here for testing purposes. Oops, why is it not giving us a new line? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, now it's working. Okay, since the name is not an empty string and the age is a number, the validation passes. But if we change that to an empty string, we should get a different message. Yes, the validation fails for the name because the name is now empty, right? And if we change this to a string, the validation should fail for the age as well. Okay. So yeah, that is how the validation happens. So again, what happens here is that the validate method looks at our rule and say okay, at our rules and say okay, we got required and we got a number. The age must be a number, the name is required, and then it goes to our data array and says that okay, the name, it gets the value for the name and says okay, it's a string, it's not an empty string. It goes to the age, says okay, it's a number, it's a valid number. If it's a valid number, it returns true. If the name is a valid string, not an empty string, it returns true. Otherwise it returns false and the validation fails. Okay.